Hello and welcome to the Universe of Magic podcast. I'm John, I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by Alyssa, who got her voice back from Ursula.
Woohoo! Kind of. It's a little raspy, so please ignore me if I'm coughing.
Yeah, and then we're joined by the man, the IATA card holder, and we'll explain that at some point, Mr. Johnny. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, what's happening? I am happy to be here. It's a beautiful evening today. The temperature cooled down a little bit in the Hudson Valley, and was out watching my kids and their sports. We're very busy, so it was a beautiful day, and I love ending the day talking about Disney, Universal, all that
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Oh, and we just kept on chatting pre-show about all the news that dropped, and there's just so much. I mean, between my preview of Guardians, which happened, about 10 days ago, which was amazing. We'll get into that in a minute, to like the Harmony Barbershop opening up. We'll touch on all that, but real quickly, going into the news, the Guardians stuff dropped, and predictable, it's going to be a virtual queue. What do you guys think of that? And like, what do you think will be, what do you think will come out of that?
Well, sorry, Alyssa, you go ahead.
No, I think it's gonna be. You have to decide for yourself. Are you willing to almost take the risk and save the money, and see, can you get a virtual queue spot? Is it gonna be like Rise of Resistance, where it's gone in 2 seconds? Or do you just know, okay, well, if I pay the individual lightning lane price, then I for sure have it. So
if you can get that.
If you can get that, which another one gone in seconds. So, But I wonder if, because there's the two, I wonder if you might, until a regular queue opens up, have a better chance of getting the individual lightning lane. I don't know.
I really struggled with what to even say about this ride, other than it is amazing. I joked in the Facebook group for our agency that I would pay $75 a person for this ride, because it's that
Don't
good.
say that. Nobody from Disney.
Yeah, don't give them any ideas.
Please.
Yeah, okay. I take that back. Rewind it. I would not pay $75. That being said, this is by far, and we'll touch on like what the virtual queue is like, because it's stressful. Like, I remember the days when Rise of the Resistance had a virtual queue, and you could hear the collective hush at whatever 1 p.m. and then you'd either hear woohoo,
Yeah, but over the hush, you heard ba-bump, 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 because everybody's hearts were beating.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the great thing, but they're also taking the spontaneity of just waiting in a queue. I mean, okay, we understand there will be 5-6 hour waits for this ride. I mean, how long were the rides for Hagrid's? How long were the wait times for that? That was like 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
This could easily, and I get it. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent, those long wait times that are synonymous with a Disney vacation. However, I don't mind, the virtual queue for the beginning. And this ride is that worth it. Like, I would seriously, even if it was a 3 hour wait, I'd probably wait 2 or 3 times a day riding this ride. Like, I cannot wait to go back in July. Like, bring it. I am like so excited. In fact, the day that we're going, we normally, a couple times when we've made trips out, we've actually like made the reservation in the virtual queue from Buffalo, and then showed up and rode Rise of the Resistance when we first got there. So that's something I'm considering doing. I don't know if we're gonna do that, but we'll definitely consider, from there. But prediction: how much do you guys think individual Lightning Lane will go for?
$12 to $15, I would say.
Yeah, I think Rise of the Resistance has been 15 from day one, so
Yeah.
I kind of expect Cosmic Rewind to be the same.
I can't wait for the day that, so, we talked about Rise of the Resistance and the Lightning Lanes and the virtual queue, like, So the first trip I went on, where we were trying to do Rise, like the whole trip, I was anxious about getting on Rise. Like, if I was going to Hollywood Studios on Thursday, Monday I was asking the bellhop for tips. Tuesday I was asking people in the jacuzzi for tips. Wednesday I was asking people online for It's a Small World for tips. So like that was cool and exciting, but I can't wait for the day that we could just kind of wing it again. You know, and if we feel like waiting 3 hours for a ride, that's still part of winging it. That's still, that's still part of the experience. I remember growing up, one of my most fond memories as a kid in Disney World was being with my older cousin, who I adored. I thought this guy was the funniest person in the world, on the line for Splash Mountain. Like, I in my head, when I remember the day, I remember being online and just goofing off. Like, and it's part of the experience. And then when you have that 3 hour wait, those people aren't on Test Track. You know, those people aren't on Soarin'. Those people aren't on Frozen. So all those rides, they had their day. Now they're going to be shorter. Like that. That's just the way it works, you know. And I'm looking forward to the day we can get that back.
And from the preview I got of the queue, it is a queue built for a long wait. There is just so much detail, and like I'll throw in some pictures while we're talking about this of like the depths of like, you know, some of the detail and like the imaginary. You walk in, there's the Galaxorium, and it's this giant screen, and it just, you know, it's just storytelling at its best. This is what Disney does really well. They do storytelling immensely well, and this is so well put together that like I could not believe after I rode the ride, I'm like, I wish I could do this again and again. And like I could not believe how like perfect of a ride it is.
Rank these three: Flight of Passage, Cosmic Rewind, and Rise of the Resistance. Rank them.
Oh, okay.
How about this? Let's do an NFL fantasy football version. Keep, trade, cut. Who are you keeping? Who are you trading?
Flight of Passage. Cut Flight of Passage. Isn't...
You said you cut it?
You have to. Yes, you have to ride this ride, Johnny. I'm telling you, it is absolute Imagineering perfection. Like,
no, I'm with you, but I thought that it was, you know, I feel like Rise of the Resistance, to me, it was like a one and done. Like, yeah, you know, it's cool. I don't need to ride it every trip.
But here's the thing. The cast members are what make that ride the ride. Like, you get that guy that we've talked about, TJ, who is just a phenomenal cast member, and he does Tower of Terror and he does Rise of the Resistance, and you get his tone and his inflection, and it's like, oh, you're caught again. You know, it makes the story, you know, and like, I can't wait till I bring my 9-year-old nephew next trip, and like I get to hear him try to sass back to the First Order. It'll make my day. That's what it's made for, because you get the kids that really don't know what they're in for, and I'm not even going to tell them anything. I'm just going to let it happen, and that's the magic of it, because they actually feel like they've been caught. You know, and that was kind of like the beauty of my last trip. It was kind of the beauty of just everything that like happened. That ride, I tried so hard to remain spoil free. Like, anytime that like a video I watched on YouTube, Rick rolled me into a POV, I'm like, nope, not doing it. You know, I'm not gonna, like, I was completely unfettered, and like I kind of knew what to expect, but like, even with what you think you're expecting, it's totally something different. Like, it is pure Imagineering gold. You know, it's just one of those things where it was just like, I can go on and on and on, but like, when you walk up and you're like so close to the ship, and then you walk in and it's like I'd never stepped foot in Universe of Energy, so I didn't really know what to expect, you know, as far as that building. But like, what they did is just phenomenal. And like, there's been, you know, critics, you know, who said that like the cast of the Guardians mailed it in. They didn't mail it in. It was, you know, it's just perfection. And I can't wait till Alyssa gets to ride it.
What song did it play?
I got Conga. I wasn't thrilled with it, but like, I'm like, I wanted something a little bit more like weighty. But like, it is a very like, the one complaint I had is you kind of get lost where the story is. So like, it's kind of along the lines. I mean, immersiveness, it's great. You kind of lose sense of where you are, like, because it's like Rock and Roller Coaster meets Haunted Mansion meets Space Mountain. It's a great
Really?
coaster. Yeah, it's just all these things, all these great things mixed together. It was just so good. Yeah. So
I don't know if you can confirm this for me. So, because when I too have been trying to say spoiler free, but I saw the article about who's the villain in the ride, and it looked like the one from Eternals. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, I forgot his name in the the Marvel lore.
Some god or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
It was just brought back Ego.
What?
I would dig that.
I said they should have brought back Ego.
Kurt Russell forever, and like, oh, come on, like, oh, and we got some Marvel stuff to talk about. Cause like,
let's go, let's talk about it. Some Disney
all right,
Plus
we'll transition to it. How did you both see the She-Hulk trailer?
Yes.
Nope. Oh. Well, I saw the first second of it, and I was like, next.
Listen, the one thing I did like about it was how they tied in Abomination. So Wong in Shang-Chi fought Abomination and then went through a portal and took him, and then you saw like almost like an octagon, and then this in the trailer you see that octagon and you see the human version of Abomination. So I like that that's the only thing I really liked about it. I didn't know she doesn't even look that big.
No.
You see her next to Hulk. But that being said, Disney also revealed today that they're going to do a Daredevil series, and I believe they put Murdoch, they put this version of Daredevil in Spider-Man. Sorry. Yes. Maybe we should spoiler alert. I'm sorry. I should have said this beforehand.
If you haven't seen Home, if you haven't seen No Way Home, you were not a Disney fan.
Now I don't feel
we
bad.
will not admonish you.
Credit, right?
What's that?
Credit. It's the end credit.
No,
right?
No, it's during the movie.
Yeah,
it's his lawyer. He comes in. He's his lawyer. He like.
Oh yes. Okay, got it.
So that confirmed that. So I think Disney Plus is going to do a new series with that Daredevil, and I'm actually like, today the news today is She-Hulk, but I'm more excited about the Daredevil news.
She-Hulk. I watched that trailer. Oh, go ahead, Alyssa.
I was just gonna say I still haven't seen Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, I need to catch up. I haven't seen that, and I still never finished watching Loki. I did see all of Moon Knight.
I did.
So I was.
Oh no, I didn't see all of it. I have one episode left.
What? I was obsessed. I had to see the last episode when it came out.
He's such a good actor.
Yes, because you guys were talking about it, and I was totally lost last time. But now I've seen it all, and I love it.
I haven't watched any of Loki. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. But
I did watch all of the Book of Boba Fett, and I know this isn't Marvel, but I watched all of that, and I liked towards the end of it when the Mandalorian was in it. Like that's when it really got good again, And I think they're going to be doing another series of Mandalorian. So we got a lot Disney Plus, man, and hate to get off Disney because this is a Disney podcast, but we got Stranger Things coming out in about 8 days.
Is it that soon already?
Yes. It's part one. So this is
Alyssa, you're gonna feign another illness here. You gotta catch up.
Yeah. We got eight days till part one. So we got a lot of good stuff coming.
In fact, maybe we should do like a sidebar like episode where we talk about all things nerd and just do like our take on like all this stuff because like I could talk about this stuff all day.
We're being real nerdy, and we wanted to tie Halloween in a little bit. And what do you guys think about Hocus Pocus 2 coming to Disney Plus? Do you think they should have never touched it? Like, I was sick, Alyssa, like 3 weeks ago. And I laid in bed with my daughter and watched that. Like, that to me is like chicken soup. Like, when it's September 1st, I put that movie on. So that's my comfort movie. So I'm looking forward to number 2. I just hope they do it justice.
I agree. I think it could go one way or the other. I think the diehards who grew up on Hocus Pocus, like us, like I feel like we're going to be so excited, but I just hope they don't ruin it. Which I think the actors themselves are going to do a phenomenal job. I'm just curious about the storyline.
Yeah.
So
who they bring back, wonder if Ice will be in it.
I have not. I don't think I've fully seen it.
The original?
No.
Blasphemy! Oh my!
Admonish me. We are like full of abominations tonight. Like, wow.
Well, it's halfway. It's about halfway to Halloween, so it's time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now's the time.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on to our next piece of news. Harmony Barbershop is opening back up July 31st. I know Alyssa's probably devastated because she wanted to get her son's haircut there probably.
So he still has no hair, so it's good. So he has not had a haircut yet, and I'm hoping maybe enough will grow out. We're talking about maybe going down in October, so fingers crossed because it'll be open in July.
Johnny needs a beard trim there, like
a little bit. Maybe I'll go in there.
I've done it before. I've done it before. Like I really needed a haircut one time when it was the trip with my in-laws. I just needed to be away from my in-laws. I said to my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna anticipate some angst, so I'm gonna get my haircut at Harmony Barbershop. She's like, okay, whatever. And like, yeah, it was a great experience. I think it was $35 for the haircut and beard. Like it wasn't bad. That's what I pay my barber. So it's like,
yeah, I think even the kids like first haircut thing that comes with like the Mickey ears and all that, it's like $25. Like it's nothing
not terrible.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. So could be way worse. Yes, hopefully I'll get to experience that with him. If he grows any more hair.
Yeah.
My little ginger baby.
Yeah. But in other news, sorry, Alyssa, I don't know if you wanted the transition, but
nope, go for it.
It's like Super Bowl season for travel agents. June 8th, vacation packages become available for all Disney vacations for 2023. Why don't we talk about what it's like for us travel agents when travel packages get released, like how much fun it is. Because like I enjoy planning trips. I'm planning my first client's trip right now, and it's like honestly the best part about it, because it's like I'm not traveling, you're paying the travel, but I'm planning your trip. That's kind of like what I do. I love to plan. So
I have to make sure I have no plans on June 8th because I have like 6 or 7 people I need to get quotes for. So it'll be a little busy that day.
I do too. Nate from our other show, his family's going. His sister, his father, himself. So I got 3 separate reservations I got to book. Nice. So I got to get them pricing and everything. And I'm looking forward to hooking them up because it's going to be their first time.
So yeah, it literally is a Super Bowl for travel agents, pretty much. So we're going to transition into our topic by talking about our last piece of news, and that is Halloween Horror Nights news. They came out with the first 2 houses. Johnny, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on that?
So, well, I thought they only came out with 1 right now.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. My bad.
It
like
is
a combined one, right?
I'm looking for the name of the house. Yeah, it's with the Mummy, with the Wolfman, and I believe with Dracula. Where I can't find the name on here. I know I wrote it down. It's like
Legends Collide.
Legends Collide. That's what it is.
Yep.
So so if you're a fan of Universal Studios, if you're a fan of Halloween Horror Nights, so there's 2 spec maps that have already been released. If you don't know what a spec map is, you're probably not a nut about Halloween Horror Nights. It's they come out and it predicts what areas of the park are going to have what houses, and they're usually pretty close. The latest spec map came out, I want to say like 3 weeks ago, so there should be another one coming up soon, and they predicted a house with the Wolfman and the Mummy. So they were pretty close. So now the first release, so if you go Google, if you're interested, Halloween Horror Nights spec map, and you'll see some of the other things they're talking about. But this house, this is going to be pretty exciting, because this is, Universal, like, and Classic Monsters is like that's how they built their brand. And me and my kids, we actually watched Frankenstein. We watched The Wolfman. So we're trying to go back because after our last trip to Universal, after going to the horror makeup show, we wanted to do that. So this is a house. It's going to be scary. So last year it was the house that they had that was classic monsters. It was the Bride of Frankenstein. I forget what the name was called, but it was like the Bride of Frankenstein was fighting the brides of Dracula, and it was a very interesting house. And they do Halloween very, very well. So I'm looking forward to more and more reveals. But they did a trailer for this too, like a little video, a kid coming out of a movie theater, and the monsters started coming out of the posters. So it looks very cool.
I saw the beginning of that trailer, and immediately I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be scary! Don't watch it! Don't watch it!"
It had thriller vibes, right?
Yeah,
it's probably more entertaining than She-Hulk.
Yes, watched a couple more seconds of that than She-Hulk. But yeah, I grew up in Orlando, and pretty much every year growing up, like I would always be invited to go to Halloween Horror Nights, but I am a chicken. I do not like horror. I don't like being scared. Jump scares, I hate it. And so I've never been, and I honestly don't know that I ever will go unless you guys really drag me with you. However, last year they did have a Beetlejuice house.
Yes.
Which if I was to go into any haunted house, that probably would have been the one that would have done. I just watched like YouTube clips of it, and it looked great. Like I probably could have handled it. But the in between the houses, like with the scare zones and stuff, not my cup of tea.
You got to get a VIP tour, which is a lot of money, but you have a guide and they kind of protect. They take you through the houses. So every year they do like a kind of a cake house, and this year it's going to be Stranger Things. Like so they haven't necessarily said, but it's in the spec map. So this year's like kind of not too scary house is going to be Stranger Things. They did Ghostbusters a few years ago, awesome. Yeah. So. They throw one in there.
I love the show Stranger Things, but I'm literally like with a blanket like this the entire show waiting for it. And so if I go through a Stranger Things house and a Demogorgon jumps out at me, I'm gonna pee my pants. So I don't know that I could do it. So as much as I love the show, it's fantastic, but I just can't handle that kind of stuff. So
well, I have never been. We were supposed to go, but Mr. Iadicard here called an audible on me and is going out to Disneyland.
Which I don't blame you at all.
Me and my wife, it's our 10th anniversary. We got married. Our anniversary, our honeymoon, we went to San Diego, Carlsbad. And my son was 1.5, and we hadn't gone to Disney yet. We weren't a Disney family. We were down, we were planning on spending most of the time in San Diego. And we were like, let's, make our way up to Disneyland for the day. And we got there at opening and the ceremony. Like, we fell in love that day. So now we're traveling back, and we're going to be talking about the Oogie Boogie Bash. I'm planning this trip around going to Oogie Boogie Bash one night because I was watching all these walkthroughs last year. And I think this year it's going to be better than it was last year. But they have so many character experiences. They have like a giant walkthrough called Villains Grove. Like, I want to ride Cosmic Rewind, but I also want to ride Mission Breakout. I want to try the new Spider-Man ride.
Yes.
I've never been on Indiana Jones. I want to check that out. I've been spending like, the last few nights with my kids YouTubing Disneyland stuff. We're staying at the Disneyland Hotel. I can't wait.
But see, isn't that the best part about planning though? Is like discovering, like honestly, like that was kind of like we talked about it pre-show, like how. Like, I had one expectation this trip, and that was the ride Cosmic Rewind. And after that, it was kind of like, nah, I kind of like, I was going with the wind. And like, I got to ride the space elevator, the Space 220.
Yes,
I paid for the privilege of eating a giant steak that, we'll talk about that maybe the next episode. We'll do like, dining regrets and dining, like, we'll do something along that lines. But like, I like waited in line after I got off Cosmic Rewind. I'm like, oh, there's a lineup for the walk-up reservations. Oh, and it's only 5-6 people deep. I'm gonna go and ride the space elevator. So I did, and it was great. Like I went from park to park to park. I mean, let me tell you, early morning magic hours in Animal Kingdom are the best. You get there at 7:30. You knock off like Expedition. I rode God, I cannot talk tonight. Expedition Everest like 4 times in like a half hour. And so like, and then I walked over to the safari and I rode the safari, and I'll post the video of the lions being really active. You know, one took exception, the other one sniffing the other's rear, and it was like the funniest thing. But it was the most magical thing because I had no expectations. And so like, as great as it is to plan, it's another thing to kind of go with the flow, enjoy the parks. Like, if I get you like there once and like I plan it pretty well for you and you actually enjoy it, you're going to want to go back and kind of take it slow. Like, I stayed at 3 resorts over the 5 nights that I was there. And like, I got to like enjoy Saratoga Springs for 2 nights, and then the next night I was at Beach Club and I just hung out with people, talking to people in the lazy river at Beach Club. It was the best thing ever.
I love that. I love the pool, hanging out, meeting people.
Man,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
time goes by so fast when you're there, when you're on property. But those moments when you're just kind of kicking back, your kids are, you know, doing their thing, and you're talking to other people. Like, those are the moments that go nice and slow, and you can really take it in. Like it.
I was chatting with people from Minnesota about, like, you know, just, you know, how it's the perfect time to come down. I'm like, oh, I'm from Western New York. I know cold too. And like, you know, it's just those things that were just like great. It was like one of those trips where it's like, I can't wait to go back. And I think I go back in, 42 days or something like that. And I'm really looking forward to it because now I get to introduce my nephew and my niece to Disney World. And like, I got to experience Cosmic Rewind, so I know my niece. And one warning about Cosmic Rewind: if you are prone to motion sickness, be wary. That's the only thing I'm going to say. But now that I'm off my tangent, going more on kind of like the Halloween kick that we were going to go on. So Universal has Halloween Horror Nights. Disney has Mickey's Not So Scary. Let's talk about the differences between those two.
So so obviously I went on my tangent about I just could never do Halloween Horror Nights, and I've had many people ask me if Mickey's Not So Scary is similar, like, is it going to scare my kids? And so, but I think it's in the name. It's the Not So Scary Halloween Party. So I think if anything was scary, I think it's probably the coolest thing during the party, but it's when the gravediggers are in the Boo parade, and they kind of, they look a little menacing, and they have their like shovels and they're like scraping it against concrete. I think that's amazing. I think it's really awesome. I can
with
see
the
that
fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see that be a little intimidating to kids, but for the most part, like, it's just fun. It's trick-or-treating through the park. It's meeting characters you never see the rest of the year. I remember meeting Tarzan and Jane. Like, you never see them throughout the year.
I met the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, all the villains. I remember all 7 dwarfs were out with Snow White. Like, things you would never see. So I think
it was Tweedledee and Tweedledum with the Queen of Hearts when I saw it.
Yeah. So
I actually went. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So I think the difference is you go to like Mickey's Not So Scary more for just the Disney experience that you're just not going to get during a typical park day. Like, it's still fun, it's still light. Like, yes, occasionally, like, you have the villains and everything, but you go to Halloween Horror Nights for the thrills. You go for the scares. You go for, again, things you're not going to see during a typical Universal day, but like, you go there more for the scary stuff.
The different
you go there for the ride overlays. Like, Space Mountain in complete darkness is just spectacular. I mean, it's dark anyway. But it's like one of those rides where it's like, oh, this is even better in the dark and even more painful for a guy my size. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's, I mean, trick-or-treating, like, I don't eat candy, but my nephews, like, and my niece got like 4 bags of candy, and they were in their glory. Their mother hated me, but that's okay.
Man, I got a milkshake that was like orange with like a giant marshmallow on top, and these parties are late. But that's another difference where, like, Halloween Horror Nights, I think it kicks off a little earlier, and the Mickey's Not So Scary doesn't really get going till I feel like a little, like, much later.
Like 7, yeah.
Yeah, but like then when the festivities really start, like, the
And they kick
shows
all
and
the
stuff
day
like
guests out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember it just felt so much later. But maybe it's because
Mm-hmm.
at Disney I do a lot more walking. Like I do a lot of walking at Universal, but Disney is a whole nother level of walking. But yeah, I had like a sweet, like this milkshake at like 1 o'clock in the morning was not a good idea, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I will say, is that Anti-Gravities over in Tomorrowland is where they have those crazy milkshakes.
That's where I got it. Yeah.
Yep. And one year they had a candy corn milkshake that was
Oh.
incredible.
I think that's what I got. I think that's what I'm
Was
talking
it?
about.
Yeah, but they have not had the candy corn milkshake since then. They
Very
have
sweet.
replaced
It was
it.
very
Yeah.
sweet.
But I
In fact,
loved it.
while we were down there, Alyssa, for conference, they actually have a Mickey's Not So Scary that one of those nights. So
I did see that because my friends and I were considering going in October, but we were like, realistically, all of our kids are 3 and under. Like taking them that late, we don't know that it'll just make sense. But then I was like, well, but maybe in September might be able to go.
Yeah.
So
My one complaint about Not So Scary is how many people they allow into the park for every party.
It's gotten worse.
If I'm going to pay that much money for that extra ticket, like I want there to be some exclusivity. And when I went, I was surprised how packed it was. Like I thought it was going to be like, free roam. At least some. So that's another difference with Universal. I feel so during Mickey's Not So Scary, there's a few big events and they're spaced out. But when the events happen, everybody comes and it bottlenecks. Whereas Halloween Horror Nights, the houses are more spread. They have 2 shows, but like I think it does a little bit of a better job of funneling the people and still making you feel like you're at least in a regular day. You're not in a super packed day, because it felt when we went to Not So Scary, like it felt packed.
Yeah,
that is true. Because I don't think you guys didn't go to Boo Bash last year, did you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So Boo Bash was an after hours party, which is more exclusive. However, it didn't have all the fun Halloween stuff that normally Mickey's Not So Scary has, because like it was Halloween themed. Like there were Halloween treats. Everyone was dressed in costumes and stuff. You could do trick or treating, but that was kind of the limit. It was more of an after hours party where you got to just kind of have very low wait times for the rides, which we did, I think 15 rides in 3 hours. It was amazing.
I love the after hours parties.
Yeah.
The after hours parties, they had one back in 2019 when we took my nephew who graduated high school. They had one that him and I did. It was one of those ones where it was just like we did so much, and like, we left there like 45 minutes early before it ended, and we accomplished everything we wanted to. We pretty much rode everything.
No, we
That's
did
awesome.
more. We did more than I expected at Boo Bash. But my complaint, though, and I think a lot of people's complaint, is that it was no Mickey's Not So Scary. It was just a slightly themed Halloween after party. So if I do get to go to Mickey's Not So Scary this year, I'm honestly probably not doing any rides. I want to go see the Sanderson sisters do their show at the castle. I want to see the Boo You parade. I want to go to the dance parties, like all that stuff, because I could go do the rides at a normal park day.
We actually did it twice in consecutive years, and the first time I was all about the characters. I went as the ice cream guy from Stitch, and like, of course, Elvis Stitch was greeting, and everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta go meet Elvis." I got so many compliments on my costume that like we were told, "Oh, you have to meet Elvis Stitch." 90 minutes later, and a very annoyed wife, because we wasted a lot of time. Where the following year we did a lot of the rides, we saw a lot of the overlays, we paid attention to the
Man,
parade,
you cannot see Jack Skellington. Jack Skellington, you gotta wait 3 hours if you want to see that guy.
True.
Oh yeah, you have to. It takes a lot of planning to pull off that event. Like if you are like one of the people that are like character driven, you got to get there. And like if you're just there to enjoy the overlays, like the teacups have an overlay. I'm trying to think. I mean, the character's out in front of Haunted Mansion. I forgot her name.
Oh,
she's
it's
great.
not the bride. It's
Oh yeah, I was talking
I
about.
can't think of her name.
Yeah, she's
I feel
great.
like it's something with an M.
Yeah. So there's so much to it, and you're not going to see it all. Like, you're honestly not going to see everything. So it's like, one of those things. So we kind of talked about the compare and contrast. The other point I think we wanted to touch on was price, right? Universal is pretty much a flat rate. Disney, in their infinite wisdom, likes to charge. I mean, well, first of all, it starts in August, and we'll air the dates here for Not So Scary. It starts in August. Nothing says Halloween like scorching August in Florida. But that's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to capitalize on the people that are going to school that won't be able to come here in October. We get it. So that goes, I think the price range for Not So Scary is what?
So I think it's, I don't see it on here. I'm looking
goes
at
up
the
to like
price.
$189, I think. Or something.
I think it's like most days are between $129 and $179, and then Halloween night is like $199, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Halloween night's $189. Oh, actually no. So yeah, $199. So it goes anywhere from the first party, because everyone wants to go to the first party, is $139, and then the next party, the following Tuesday, it's $109. So
what's great is if you can't afford to do that, the park is still decorated for Halloween during the day.
Oh yeah.
So like that's awesome. Like they do such a good job when they flip it over. Like the park looks incredible around Halloween time. The garden out front, and then the pumpkins, and like it is such an experience visiting during Halloween time and visiting Christmas time, because they do such a good job of decorating the parks.
Yeah. And I like that they have all the treats and snacks during the day too. Like you can go. Like when I was there last, I had only done Boo Bash, and so I didn't go to any other park, and I was upset because Hollywood Studios had all of the amazing like fall treats and stuff. However, I did go to a lot of the resorts, and so I remember like Riviera and Grand Floridian had some of the best like Halloween treats and stuff there too. So definitely, I always follow Disney Parks blog because they'll go into detail and they'll have a full list of where everything is and what you can get. I'm all about the food.
Yep.
So. Yeah.
So anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up?
Well, at Universal for Halloween Horror Nights, I forget which hotel it was. I think it might have been Cabana Bay. One of the bars was like Halloween Horror Nights themed.
Oh,
and like
fun.
you could walk into a blender and all the drinks. So like they kind of do a good job of like take a picture in there, and like so Jack is like the main icon. So they have a thing, like we could have a whole episode explaining Halloween Horror Nights, but they have icons, and he's like the main one. He's like the host, and so they had like the whole bar, like drinks, food, everything. So they do a good job of kind of spreading it out to outside of the park as well. So the main thing at the end of the day, depending on what your flavor is exactly, like they both do their target audience for Halloween. Whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, they accomplish. Like, they both knock it out of the park. If you're a Halloween person, you need to visit these parks around the holidays, around Halloween, because it is a special experience. And I'm blessed. I've been able to go during Christmas. I've been able to go during Flower and Garden. I've been able to go during Halloween. And I've gone again, multiple times. But, if you're looking to go just one and done, I think the holidays is a great time to go.
I think a one and done ideal trip to experience as much as you can would be like October 29th through like November 6th. Like you get the best of both. Because
they flip it over November 5th, right?
November 1st.
Yeah.
November 1st now?
November 1st. Yeah, they
overnight.
literally flip it over the next night.
Yeah.
It
So
used
when
to
the
be
It's
November
amazing, the
5th.
transformation.
No, when the Halloween party is over, Halloween night, everything comes down and all the Christmas stuff is up. So if you go on November 1st, it's like a completely different park.
Speaking of food and
Life
wine,
comes
we
at you
forgot to
fast.
touch on the concert series. We'll do that, but Tiffany escapes me yet again.
Darn. I saw, is it Boys to Men's going though?
Yes, Boys to Men.
That's it.
Yeah, in fact, here, I'll pull it up since I am.
No, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. When we're kind of out of order, but yeah, you have
Go
Baha
bi-weekly,
Men,
Baja.
What's that?
Oh, man. I said we're bi-weekly,
Yes.
man. Let's just get the news out there.
Yes. So we got Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Taylor Dane, Tiffany, Joey Fatone, and
Taylor
friends.
Dane, she sings "Tell It to My Heart," and that's a
Yes.
bop.
Yes.
That's a bop.
We have Joey Fat One and friends. Joey Fatone. He has a restaurant called Fat Ones. Let's see, Hoobastank, Mark Willis, 38 Special, Hanson,
Hold on,
and
Lucy.
then to kick it off. So Hanson is over Halloween. So that's gonna be big, and then Boys to Men November 4th through the 7th. So yeah,
I want to see Taylor Dane.
I remember back when in the 80s, I was all about Debbie Gibson and Tiffany. So I would almost like to sneak down there and see her, but that's okay. I'm pretty much barred from sneaking down to Disney anytime soon.
Very hard to sneak down to Disney.
Yeah. So anyway, we thank you for sharing. Oh, one more thing.
Ooh.
So for the month of June, we are going to do a Beverly challenge video. I was going to do this whole video of me taking shots. I'll just post a video of me taking shots of Beverly right now. But for what do you guys think? 20, 25 subscribers to any of our platforms, I will do a shot of Beverly, or should we make it every 10? Because I feel like a cup, man. Like every 25 subscribers, if you get us to 100, how about a shot every 10? And if we hit 100, you're slamming the whole cup.
Whole cup.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I will go to the Coke store at Disney Springs, and I will do the largest drink they have, and I will slam it. I will go Badlands chug on that.
Yeah. All
yes,
right. If you get us to 100, if we get to
Yes.
100 before then, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So again, if you don't like seeing my face, share it out. Just tell people to subscribe. They don't have to watch. I mean, I hope they watch. But anyway, it'd be great.
For those who don't know, just because I feel like we know, but if you're listening, you don't know what Beverly is. If you go to Epcot, go to Club Cool. It's like a Coca-Cola store, and there's free samples of the types of sodas from around the world. Just try Beverly once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know? So I heard
it's delicious.
I heard that on another show I was listening to that Beverly is from Italy, and it's actually a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Like when you're so it's not a drink. Like it's supposed to, whatever taste you have in your mouth, it's supposed to get it out of there so that now you could eat something different or drink something different. So it's not even designed to be a beverage.
Well,
you're gonna be slamming the extra large.
I tested my limits, and I think I got up to shot 6. I'm like,
it's like 3/4 of a cup.
Okay.
Mix in some of the other sodas in between, maybe.
Yeah, I had to.
Do it for the listeners, man.
I'm going to. I want to. Let's grow the channel. Let's grow the brand.
Yes, organically. We will torture ourselves. We will torture ourselves if you'll
It's
subscribe.
the latest TikTok challenge. Yeah. Drink stuff we shouldn't be drinking for entertainment. Yay.
I would like to know I am not drinking the Beverly. It's all John.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'll get my nephew Carter to join in on it after I get a video of him. Because, he is the ultimate 9-year-old troll. So I will enjoy, just getting his reaction of the taste of Beverly. And he'll be like, oh, it's awful. Let's do it again. Because that's Carter. So.
That's awesome.
Yep. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Oh, if you like our channel, like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. Johnny, any final thoughts?
If you're looking to plan a trip to Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, reach out to one of us. I am on Facebook at Johnny MOMT. John is at John MOMT. Alyssa is at Alyssa MOMT. And we are all from Moments of Magic Travel. So we would love to assist you, help you plan your dream vacation.
Mm-hmm. It's actually JohnOakes at momentsofmagictravel.com.
My bad.
But that's okay.
Who put that in the notes?
We'll put it in the note. Actually, yeah, that'll be. We're gonna try to include show notes that are actually coherent because I'm not very coherent at writing. So, with that being said, thanks for listening, and Alyssa, go ahead and take us out.
Thanks for putting it. Have a magical
Smooth
day,
transition.
everybody.